What's up? What's up, man? Welcome to Boastful, man.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
You playing, bro.
We're still here, man.
Let's do it, man.
Today we're gonna be talking about understanding your family legacy language and the tools you need to restructure it. So just based off of that, man, what you guys think about that topic, man? Like what that mean to you guys?
So you said financial freedom and
No.
literacy,
Understanding your family legacy language
legacy.
and the
Okay.
tools to restructure it.
Um, I feel like first off, that's a really deep topic, and I feel like that comes from like really diving into like where your family like began, like who, like how we talked about our culture and really diving into asking questions and how we talked about like what was it, the sensitivity of that. So I feel like that comes from really diving in and talking to people from your, you know, that actually hold on to the keys of like the past of your family.
What you? Any thoughts?
What's repeat the question again? Let me try to-
Understanding your family legacy language and the tools you need to restructure it.
Yeah, like he said, you gotta know where your family come from in order to restructure it and rebuild it and shape it into something better than what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So got a few different topics we gonna address,
Okay.
but I'm gonna start off just by talking about some different things. I feel like it's important for you to recognize the historical culture and significance of you know African American language. And examine how language has been used to navigate and overcome adversity. Um, Utilize storytelling and other forms of communication to pass down the family history and values, and challenging negative stereotypes and promoting linguistic pride, employing positive and affirming language to build self esteem and resilience. So that's gonna be a couple of things we're gonna touch on today, and what that mean to you guys. And when I say African American language, that's something is called AAL, and I'm gonna explain it to you guys so you know what it is, man.
Okay.
Um, AAL is a tool for survival and liberation. You know, it's a distinct, valid linguistic system that's developed out of experience of enslaved people in the United States. It played a vital role in communication and community building among enslaved people, helping them to survive and resist oppression. Now, my question to you guys is, what does oppression mean? Do y'all know what that mean, or
Not
y'all
really.
kind of need me to
Yeah.
explain it? Like, what does it mean to you in the what does it mean in the black culture?
I mean, to be put down, basically. That's what I think it means. Just to be put down by another, I say, race, and not having the tools to do stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and them not trying to help you because they for their race and they not for your race. So
Mm.
they try to put you down and not give you the right tools to be successful. That's why I think being oppressed.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I think it's pretty similar to what he said, but when you say oppression, like I think about it makes me think about like depression in a way. Not saying that they're like too similar, but it it sounds alike. So it's like the first thing you probably think of. I feel like how he said where to be put down by another race and like
Mm-hmm.
feel like we not don't have the keys to be successful. I feel like that's a lot of what people say now. Like we don't have the certain keys to be on top or be equal to, whites or so. That's what I feel like it said a lot in today's time, and but we use it as a crutch. So I feel like that's what I think about when you say oppression.
So why you feel like we use it as a crutch in this?
Um, So the reason why I feel like, and I'm gonna elaborate on that because I've seen a lot of videos, I've done a lot of research to where, and it's into can see it like all around when you just go out. Like a lot of people say that we don't really have what we need to be successful when we really do. You know, I feel like we use it as a crutch because like when something fails or if we're not getting where we need to be, and we see another race, doing what they have to do, we feel like, oh, well, what are we doing wrong or what are they doing to us? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we revert back to like, oh, we're not getting what they're getting, you know? We feel like inequality in a way.
I mean, that's basically what I mean. But I'm gonna just give you the definition of, you know, surviving black oppressions mean maintaining one's footing and foundation while actively resisting and coping with systematic injustice and
Hmm.
discrimination they face. This concept is intertwined with with the notion of black resilience, which encompasses not just enduring hardship, but also acting with defiance and resisting to reclaim dignity and joy.
Mm. Okay.
So, I mean, basic things like resistance, resilience, reclaiming our black humanity, social
Right.
support and community, spiritual and religion, and on and on and on. But
So would you say it's like more so of us getting through what we've been through? Like
yeah,
kind of like fighting through those things?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna address some things today, you know, and we're gonna start off with the role of family in reshaping language. What I mean by that is, if you think about it, parents and family plays a significant role in racial socialization and influence in how children navigate experience of racism. And I mean, when you think about stuff like that, us as parents, we kind of have to teach our kids how to deal with life outside of the house, you know. And I just
Absolutely.
feel like some parents just don't do a good job with that because the way I look at it, um, some parents teach you to be aggressive and approach those things in a negative way per se. I feel like we got to kind of get out of that because not everybody that we run across that's of a different culture or race is not out to get us. You know,
That's true.
I feel like the way you present yourself sometimes is how people take you. You
Perceive
know,
you.
and if you don't present yourself in a loving way or a kind way, I feel like you kind of get some backlash just from that. I
Yeah,
mean, can you agree on that?
Yeah.
that's true.
Um, Also, the way we speak, the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk, enunciate, and different things like that. You know, people are going to take you serious only based off of the way you present yourself. And I mean,
Right.
I for one can say that because for a long time I was not accepted for my knowledge. I was accepted for the way I look. You know, I I wear a lot of jewelry. I like wearing jewelry. You know, and needless to say, certain people look at you a certain kind of way when you have jewelry on and you got baggy pants and when different type of clothing. Not saying that it's right, but it's just the way it is.
Right.
You know, if you see me out in the public and I'm dressed the way I dress, you see another guy, same color, same dreads, but he got a suit and tie. Who you think the person with the money is gonna talk to first?
The suit and
Got
tie.
the suit and tie.
Exactly. But I have learned something too. When it come down to it, when you open your mouth, people do listen. So
That's
if you
true.
speak a certain way, you'll get separated too.
That's right.
What do you guys think about that?
You want to go first?
Well, I feel like they always gonna have a perception of you, an idea of you.
That's true.
So I guess when you start speaking up and you start talking more and you got knowledge of what you're saying, be facts behind what you're saying, then that's when I feel like they start respecting you. They start hearing you, start want to do things with you. So it's like you always gotta, I feel like open your mouth and not keep your mouth closed. And then that's why they gonna have that perception of you, of how they think you is, and
Hmm.
you're not really like that. So it's like,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's facts. And I feel like that stuff is taught at home. You know, I
Definitely.
feel like all parents should be teaching their kids how to carry themselves out in the public. You know, I mean, for me, I don't care the way you dress, but I do care what comes out of your mouth. You know,
Hmm.
and I do care about your like how you value yourself as a person. You know, how you value other people. You know, because there's one thing I learned: you can't treat somebody else well if you're not treating yourself well. You know, you have to, as a person, you have to love yourself to be able to love and care for anybody else in this world, or care about anything. You
I
know what I
got,
mean?
That's true.
I,
And that's taught at home. You know,
I
if
feel,
if I don't love myself as a person, how I'm on love my kids, love my wife, anybody? I can't. It's just like you leading a bunch of people down the wrong path.
Right.
yeah, I feel like if you got that going out to whatever, if you go out there with lack of preparation from your family, your peers, and your family,
Hmm.
you're doomed to fail
Lack of
going forward.
preparation. That's
Yep.
Because you always
that's
gotta
deep.
have, you always gotta be prepared for anything going out to the world. So
Yeah.
without that preparation from your parents, then you don't know no better. So you just going out there doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. So it's like, you always gotta be prepared for anything. So
I do think these things are like going back to what you said about these things being taught at home, about like how people may perceive you when you're out. Um, that's I feel like that was more big back in time. Like right now, I feel like people has lost the hold of that, like in their parenting style. Like they're more so worried about other things, like things that are gonna be learned eventually. Obviously, like when they talk about education and stuff like that, and they talk about, oh, you need to be on top of this, you need to be on top of that, but a lot of times we're not aware of these kids going out into the world and they're not prepared to be perceived a certain way, or they're not prepared to see, oh, if you wear this, somebody's going to look at you this way, or if you say these things, or if you're not speaking with intelligence, people are going to see you this way and you're going to be counted out.
Hmm.
And that's where I feel like that imbalance comes from, like that inequality comes from,
Hmm.
because people are like, oh, if you like say somebody else is speaking very proper and you're not from somewhere, or you maybe moved and you speak a certain way, you're
Hmm.
automatically going to be judged, you're automatically going to be looked at differently. And it's not saying, oh, you have to speak that way, but if you're going to speak that way, speak with intelligence as well, and also carry yourself a certain way when you go certain places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like those things aren't taught as much as they used to be back in the day as well.
Well, I mean, if I must say, it's a lot of things that goes into teaching. I mean, right off the rip, social skills.
Hmm.
A lot of people, they don't have that. They learn that when they start working.
Yeah.
Um, Learning how to de-escalate situations. Like us as the African American culture, we we love to get upset about things, and then there's no there's no in between. You know, we just ready to pop off. Like those things, like we have to stop doing those things for the simple fact that every action don't deserve a reaction.
True.
Thanks.
That's what I like to say,
Yeah.
you know. But if you ask some people, they're gonna tell you, well, every action deserves a reaction. No, it don't. I
Not at
mean,
all.
if if I know this is going to end up bad for me,
Mhm.
why respond to it? Why even take it there? Why even let myself stoop to that level? You know,
Yeah.
and that's what I mean about when you're trying to go places. When you're trying to go places, like you just have to learn how to separate yourself from certain stuff, you know,
Yeah.
or certain people or whatever.
I feel like that come from being.
And even like the stuff with the, I'm gonna let you get to it in a second. Even with the stuff with school, you know, I'm not gonna sit up here and harp on school and say school is for everybody because if it don't fit your mindset, then no, you're not gonna make it. But you have to you have to know your kids in a sense, you
Mhm.
know. If if you know your kid not equipped for certain stuff and you can't get them there, then you find out what that kid like and you help push them towards something. You help them, you know. You help them learn what they love and support it.
That's true.
We don't like to do that in the black community, you know. If more people in our community start doing that, like just start investing in their kids, like they invest in other stuff,
Mhm.
man, it'll be so different,
That's true.
you know. Like we up here and we talking about legacy and understanding the family structure and things like that. It's impaired that we do the research to see where we came from, you know,
Yeah.
because you never know what you might find, you know. Like I watch so many kids they get left behind just because they don't have the tools they need to get where they need to get, you know.
And knowledge.
Kids are smart and when you catch them young, you can invest them and pour so much time in them and they'll get so much further in life
Right.
if you just support what they want to do at that moment. Once they don't want to do it no more, it's hard to get them back on that track, you know? And
Exactly.
you got to show them more things. Like so many kids in poverty, they're stuck to what they see, you know? And then when they get outside and they hit about 25, 26, when they start to see different things, they're like, oh man, I could have been doing this if I'd have knew that. Like we have to, as parents, like widen our horizon with stuff and learning different things to help our kids see different stuff. And it's little stuff like just taking trips or just actually getting out and going to free events and meeting people. Like we don't like to do stuff like that. If
Yeah.
it ain't a party or if it ain't a gathering that a family member doing or something, we don't want to go. you know, you'd be amazed what you can see just by going to like, I mean, just pulling up little things on stuff like Eventbrite and seeing what's going on. And you might see something that you never thought about going to, like even going to like a museum thing. Like your kid might want to do art. He might be good at it. You never know. You know?
So,
Yep.
so why you think as a community that we don't do that for our children and younger generation?
Because we do what we see. Like we do what we see. Like, you know, I was the same way. I mean, dude, like my parents, like we went places, but I mean the most we went to is what, like Mississippi or Florida, you know?
What do you think the things that we're seeing are necessarily wrong that we don't need to follow? As like from
Being
a parent's
closed minded.
perspective.
Being closed minded to just working a regular 9 to 5. Like if you
Mhm.
feel that you're more than that because man, God put us here to be great,
Exactly.
you know? I mean, I feel like it's no limit to what we can do, you know.
That's not at
But
all.
I just tell everybody to be sensible when you're doing so. I'm not telling you to go out here and quit your 9 to 5, but I am telling you that if it is something else that you want to do, invest in it. Look
Exactly.
into it, invest in it. And if you really feel like you can do it, then you need to get out there and do what need to be done to get you there. Because guess what? Nobody's gonna put you there.
Exactly.
Like you got to get there yourself. It's your responsibility to do the due diligence or whatever it is to see what it's gonna take to get this brand or whatever it is that you're trying to do to grow.
Right.
You know,
I don't
and
feel
once you do that, if you feel like it's a win, then man, go for it.
that's real. I don't feel like it's a sense in working a 9 to 5 if you're not pouring into yourself. And I see this happen a lot. Like a lot of people just working 9 to 5 only to pay bills, and they pour into that more than they pour into themselves, because it's like you have this dream sitting in your head, and you know exactly what you want to do, you know what you're capable of, and you're gonna keep thinking about these things every day, every day, every day, and you just keep going into work, and you only using your money to buy food, buy clothes, buy the little stuff that make you feel good for the moment, right? Instead of really investing in yourself and investing in what you really need to do to expand your horizon and expand what you really are capable of. And that's what I feel like you were getting at when you said like telling people not to quit their 9 to 5, because no, you don't need to quit. Just use it wisely. Use it to invest in what you know you want to do. That way later on you won't have to work the 9 to 5 anymore. Like everybody talk about, oh, one day I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. How are you gonna quit your 9 to 5 if you're not pouring into what's gonna make you be able to quit your 9 to 5?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise things are just gonna stay the same. You know,
What advice you got for people that's like scared to like to get out there and like do that type of stuff, like invest in yourself and
it's gonna
like do different
always be
things.
fear,
It's
bro.
gonna always be scary. It's gonna always be fear.
Like,
Like being successful is not easy. It's not for the weak.
exactly.
You know, I mean, anything you do gonna be scary. Like if even if let's put it, for instance, like me, I was working a full-time job and I always wanted to go back to school and finish. I mean, I it took so much effort to do it because I always said, "Oh, I'm gonna wait till my son get older, then I'm gonna go back and do it." You know, but when that time came, I still didn't want to do it just because you worried about this, you worried about the student loans, you worried about all these different things, you worried about how you gonna make the ends meet instead of just going and go do it. Like you have to at some point, if you're gonna be successful at anything or you're gonna do anything that you say you want to do, you just got to get there and do it. You know,
Yeah,
because the timing not gonna never line up.
ever.
You know, like what is the perfect time? You may be like, oh, well, let me pay this credit card off. Let me pay my rent up for a couple of months, and then I'm gonna do it. Well, what happened if things keep happening, and before you know it, you a year past the time you wanted to do it. Then you look up, now you're 2 years past it. You're just losing time.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people, we always say, oh, I'm gonna wait for this time, I'm gonna wait for that time. Personally, what I believe in, the time is now. Like whenever you think about that plan, what you want to do, and you seal the deal, and you're like, okay, this is what I truly want to do. This is what I want to attack.
Hmm.
Attack it now, because if you keep waiting and say, oh, I'm gonna do it my next check, or I'm gonna do it when I, like my dad said, oh, I'm gonna do it when I pay this off, when I pay that off. Things are set up to always happen. In life, things are gonna happen one after another, and you're not gonna be able to stop it at all. So you have to, whatever you want to do that you set your mind to, do it now. I see a lot of people say all the time, like, oh, I want to do YouTube, or oh, I want to do this, or oh, I want to start this business. It's not gonna happen unless you invest in it and do it now, because things gonna keep happening, and you're just gonna keep getting delayed, keep getting delayed. That's just
We're gonna move on to the next topic because we
Yeah.
could talk about this all day.
Okay.
Like,
So
so the next thing I want to talk about is um we're gonna talk about challenging negative stereotypes, and then we're gonna jump into building a positive legacy. What do you think about challenging negative stereotypes? What does that mean?
I feel like that's challenging negative stereotypes. Like, stereotypes is pretty self-explanatory. Like how people always say, like, "Oh,
Talking about prejudice and discrimination against black people. I mean, this.
exactly."
I
That's
mean,
that's
this.
what
Like,
stereotypes is,
what do you guys
bro.
think about that when it comes to that? Like, people being prejudiced towards the black community as far as for like, you know, the way we dress, like our hair, like for me, for instance, for dreads, um, you know,
I don't.
just the
I'm.
way we carry ourselves, whatever.
I don't want to say it's funny, but it's like we talk about these stereotypes, but people are honestly trying to copy what we have. Like not the negative part, like as far as for the sagging the pants and all that stuff or whatever, the stuff that gets us labeled negatively, but look at our style, look at our culture, look at the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we dance, we make music and stuff like that.
I was slang terms.
Slang terms. Everybody is using that and they're trying to flip it
I
around.
don't think everybody use it. I think like, and this is all my thoughts, the way I look at it.
Okay.
I think the younger generation, for all cultures that's outside, yeah, they try to copy that. But as far as for like my age group and up, like don't nobody really like that. I mean, like we say it and we clown about it, but I mean, nobody in the corporate world using our slang.
No, no, not at all.
You know,
Yeah, that's
I mean, they use it as a joke. Like I see it all the time, but how do you deal with that? How do you challenge it? Like, how do you? Because honestly, it's not a bad thing. Like for us, it's us. It's what we do. It's been doing it since back in the day with slavery. Like when they was in the fields and they was singing like the Negro spirituals and all these different things. They had those things to let them know that maybe somebody was coming or this and that and other was about to happen. Like it was used back then for code. What is it used for now? Like, cause like honestly, like a lot of people do it, like use slangs and all these different languages, and like y'all do it for fun. Like it's really not no meaning behind it,
all right.
unless I'm missing something myself, you know.
Honestly just slang. But a lot of
But that's
times,
what I'm saying. That's the difference. Like we say that's a part of our culture. Yes, it is. But if you educated on it, it was used for a reason back in the day.
I mean, we still use it for a reason. We still,
What's
uh,
the reason?
I'm like, you say code, and we still do that. Like we say stuff in different ways for somebody else not to understand what we're saying to the person that we talking to.
Okay.
So it's like we
Well,
still
that's
kind of
that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying I don't know.
we
Y'all know.
that's
Y'all
true.
young.
we
I'm
still
not young.
using slang terms and different terminologies. Say like we use basketball, like when you're around somebody, we using basketball terms to talk about a girl, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
Yeah,
trying to talk
yeah.
about
stuff
Educate
like
me,
that.
cause I don't know.
we trying to
I'm
talk
just
about
saying.
like how we trying to talk to her, how we trying to get at her in them
Yeah.
terms without her knowing that we talking about.
So it is meaning behind. So y'all do know.
Yeah,
There is
Okay.
meanings, yeah. So
All right.
it always does depend on the slang, but like
yeah.
a lot of people use it and they don't even know what they're saying though. Like say if somebody like a white person uses it, sometimes they don't even know what it means. They just heard what we said, but they thought they caught on, but they really didn't. You know?
So again, that's my question. How do y'all challenge those stereotypes? Like, how do y'all?
I don't feel like we try to challenge it. We just us. We just
I feel like we
do.
laugh it off. Like we don't really try
But
to
it's not
challenge
funny.
it.
I
It's
mean,
it's
like
really not funny, but
people need to know. Like,
yeah.
because if you think about it, like, and that's what I mean as far as for like, understanding your legacy and stuff like that. Like,
Hmm.
people know why that was used back in the day. Like, a lot of people don't understand like why y'all do it these days because y'all don't put it out there and be like and correct it in a sense.
Right.
So in a sense, it kind of makes us look bad to
Right.
these other cultures and different things. Like we just out here, just being ignorant.
Right.
But I feel like they being ignorant.
Hmm.
How can we be ignorant?
'Cause
Because of how what we do and how we do things. If they don't understand it, they can always ask us. Like,
a lot of
we all
time.
got to explain ourselves and what we doing. If they don't do it, they don't explain themselves when they do things. They just do
Right.
it.
But again, privilege, unprivileged. That's simple, you know. Like y'all gotta look at it as a way like we gotta celebrate, the richness of the black language. Like that's it's we should take us serious because other people don't, you know. Right
Absolutely.
now, I feel like y'all dismantling, the language validated. You know what I mean? Just because y'all not letting people know, y'all not expressing, hey, this us, this what we do. We've been doing this, you know.
Right.
This is what this mean. Like
I feel like we do it through actions. I don't think that necessarily you can. We
how?
always got to talk
But
and tell us
are
what we
we
don't do.
necessarily doing enough?
I mean, you can do it through action. Like you don't have to like answer to them, but you can do it through action by educating. You know,
Right. So when you say educate, like educating them on our language and like our culture and
not
stuff.
really, not like we don't have to explain to them what it mean, but just let them know like there's meaning behind this. Like y'all use this stuff and there's meaning behind it, and you don't understand it.
Yeah.
You'll never understand it.
Like you saying, maybe like ask them like, "Hey, do you even know what this
Yeah,
means?"
you even know what that mean? Yeah,
Like,
like challenge them.
yeah,
You hear somebody saying it, what that even mean, bro?
because a lot of times, like
You know
my
what I mean? Like shut it down right there. Like what that even mean? You saying it? What it even mean?
right,
Explain it to me.
I feel like they do it to be funny though.
They
Like
do.
it's
But
like
at the same time, like how they trying to make you feel bad, you got to make them feel bad too. In a
exactly
sense,
like just how they
and it
mock
don't matter who
us.
it is. I'm not just talking about like you know whites or nothing like that. I mean, I'm talking about everybody.
Just
You know,
anybody in general. Like
even if it's somebody black that's using it, they don't know what it means. Do you know what that means?
because
You know,
it's mocking in a way,
it is.
but that's
It
that's
is.
literally what it is. So
Wow. What do you think about building a positive legacy? Like, what does that look like? Like say for instance, like a role of family in shaping language or storytelling and family narratives, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what you think? What that look like?
first, I feel like everybody has a different view of positive. So we have to see what's positive for you may not be what's positive for me. Positive for you may not be what's positive for me. You know.
Facts.
So it's like
Explain that. Like, elaborate on it.
so
What'll be something positive
so
for
check this
you?
out. Like for me, positivity is like not having negativity in the house. Like say for when like in the house, like somebody says, "Oh, I want to do this." If I feel like everybody in the household should automatically back that person on that because
But why? If
if
if I
it's
100% don't agree with it, I think you capping.
right.
Yeah, I'm using y'all word. You
Yeah.
capping, and
I feel like what
you
I'm
don't understand the road you going down.
okay.
You ain't did no research. You don't have nothing that you brought to me to help me understand. How can I support you on something that you're not knowledgeable about?
I feel
So
you. So when when we present this to y'all, like say, oh, let's say for instance, all right, I like to use YouTube as an example. I wanna do YouTube because every time somebody says YouTube, they be like, oh no, you're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Because they look at the statistics, they look at who's made it off of YouTube, and for some reason, everybody think it's impossible to be famous. Like for some
that's
reason,
that's true, but that's
everybody
that's only that's only our culture. That
right.
say some of us. I for one don't believe that it's impossible to be famous.
It's
And I
not
tell you that all the time. I tell anybody that because you never know who's gonna pop.
right.
But at the same time, if I'm a realist.
Right.
If I feel like you're not doing your due diligence to make it and you don't have all your ducks in a row, I'm gonna
Right.
tell you about it.
Of
But how
course.
can you say
And
that
I
in
feel
a
like
way that is,
that's not bashing, like
yeah?
a way that's positive still. Like there's nothing wrong with criticism, but there's
A
constructive
way you can
criticism
say
and
something.
there's negative criticism. You know what I mean? Like, say for instance, if I come to you and be like, "Hey, Dad, I want to be a rapper," you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, "Okay, I researched this. I've looked at this. I can network with this person. I can like I got all my ducks in a row, right?" Some kids do that and they still get bashed on it just because their parents think it's impossible to do so. And that's what I mean about like the difference between negativity and positive. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And positivity, because like if you have a positive household, they can be like, okay, bet if you got this in a row, we could try it. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work and you still want to do it, we're gonna try it another way. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna find every way possible before they shut that kid's dreams down. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's like you said, you never know what somebody's good at. You never know what somebody's destined for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I say what I'm saying. Because a lot of people want to bring in the negative and the positive, and they don't even know what negative and positive is. Because what's positive in that kid's eyes is not going to be positive in everybody else's eyes. You know what I mean?
Okay. So now let me get it to you from a parent point of view,
They do it.
right? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm.
As a parent, you got to look at, and I don't think kids understand this.
Hmm.
A lot of the time, a lot of dreams that you guys have, your parent will have them visions too. Because you got to think about it that we were young too at one point.
Right.
I did all the stuff, wanting to be a rapper,
Hmm.
wanting to play ball, wanting to do this. But at some point, you have to deal with reality.
That's true.
And reality don't mean you shutting down your dream. It just mean that window's closing.
Hmm.
you know, because I feel like there's a there's a there's a window for everything.
True.
You know, you can't play football forever. You
Facts.
can't hoop forever.
Facts.
It's a small window.
Right.
So I just feel like sometimes y'all feel like y'all being shut down when y'all getting the real side of it told to you. Everybody want that fantasy side, but they don't
Hmm.
want that real side.
Facts.
There's two sides to everything,
Hmm.
and you have to be able to understand that. There's a 50-50 chance you may make it, 50-50 chance you might not make it. You have to be able to deal with that. I might not make it. And I think a lot of kids, they don't want to accept that part.
Hmm.
And you might not make it, might mean you might not make it right now because guess what? It's not your season,
It's true.
you know?
So this brings me to this question. What do you do about so say you give that kid that real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind this kid already got negative thoughts in his head, right? Or his or her, right? They already got those negative thoughts in their own head. So they telling themselves, oh damn, it might be not a chance that it's a small window that I may not make it or what do they already a lot of times when you come to your parents with these ideas, you already have that self doubt in your head. So what do you do about that self doubt? Like what would be your advice? You're speaking to a kid right now. What would be your advice about that self doubt? How do you deal with that and just block that out?
You block it out first of all by being transparent when you're talking to your parents. A lot of kids don't be real when they talk to their parents about stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they just come with these ideas about, oh, this is going to work. Like, when you're talking to somebody, you have to give them everything. You just be like, man, well, look, I'm doubting it here. I feel like this. You have
Mm-hmm.
to talk those things out. And
Okay.
a lot of time when you tell it to your parents, if they're a good parent, a parent gonna build you up because
Of
that's
course.
what we do. You know,
Absolutely.
self-doubt, like you gotta get that out your head. Like you just gotta be a dog. Like if you feel like this what you want to do, if you know with every fiber in your body that this is what you want to do, man, you gotta go get it.
What else?
Even when you don't want to get it, even when you feel down, you get down on your knees and you pray. That's what I talk about, having that relationship. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of parents don't push their relationship with God. You gotta have a relationship, man. Like there's nothing I can tell you that's gonna make you want to take it there. But when you pray on stuff and you know, when you know, you know. If this for you, guess what? He's gonna give you a sign. He's gonna show you this is what you're supposed to be doing. And no matter how many times you try to navigate away from that, he's gonna pull you right back to it because guess what? That's your purpose.
So
That's
what if you
real.
don't got that family? What if you don't got that type of parent in the household doing that for you?
Then you find somebody that's gonna pour into you like that. Like again, that's your circle. You know, it don't have to just come from your parents. That's what we talk about, that community. You know, all this stuff is important. If you don't have the right people around you, then you're not gonna make it.
That's real.
I don't care what you do because guess what? If you telling this person your dreams and they constantly shitting on it, why am I keep telling it to you? You're just putting negative energy in me.
That's real.
You know, you get to a certain point, and that's where I'm at in life now. Like I can't have negative people around me. You know,
Right.
like I don't like it. It don't mesh with me well. You know, if I feel like you're negative about everything that I'm telling you I'm trying to do, then I gotta separate myself from you. You know, if I don't if I don't feel your energy, I don't like your energy. Hey, I gotta remove myself from you. I'm not gonna talk to you much
Yeah.
just because I know what you about, and I'm not gonna be mean to you.
Hmm.
I'm just not gonna entertain what you got going on because, and it's not. It's like some people they can be in a negative space in their life, and that don't mean that they're a bad person. You never know what they're going through. But if you're not going to tell me so I can help you with it, and if you just want to be like that, then hey, I'll let you go through that alone. I'm not going to let that attach to me. You know what I mean?
Like,
So it's just
honestly, like everything's,
if
and I,
somebody not pouring into you, man. Hey,
right.
you got to separate yourself from that. That's just the way that is, and find you some more people to hang around.
That's
I
true.
mean, it's kind of hard when it's family. Like you've been with them since.
Man, that be the main ones. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
That be the main ones.
That's facts. That's why they say like, and I'm a firm believer in this. Everything's
I don't
not
have. You don't
meant to
have
be
to cut them
told.
off. I just don't have to deal with you like that. I don't have to tell you all my dreams.
Right.
I don't have to tell you what I want to do because if you're not going to pour into it, then why tell you about it? If you're just going to shoot it down, why am I tell you about it?
Hmm. That's true. Some things you got to keep in the vault. Like
If you
everything don't
talking
got
to
to be
somebody,
told.
here's my thing, dude. If you're talking to somebody that you love about something that really means a lot to you, you don't pray it on this, you don't talk to God about it, you got it mapped out, you know what you want to do. And if they shoot it down without even trying to hear what you got to say, then hey, you know what to do with that. You don't have to like not deal with them. I'm just not going to tell you about that no more
Facts.
because some people not ready to handle where you going. You know,
Hmm. That's real.
you ever seen an eagle flying around with a pigeon?
They fly at two different altitudes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
If God taking you here and that person is supposed to be two notches under you,
Yeah.
then you got to drop that person off if you're gonna make it to where you trying to get. It don't mean that I don't have to like you in a sense. I can't be friends with you, but it's just certain doors that I'm gonna walk into. You can't come in there with me. Not saying you might not be able to come in another door with me later on after he deal with you and get you where you need to go. You know, it's all about timing.
Mm, mm. I think I deal with that in my household. Like I talk about my dreams to my mom and sisters. I feel like I don't get that little positive in that house. It's almost just all negative. Oh, that's what I see it as. Because everything I talk about this podcast to my mama before. Oh, you don't talk much. You don't do this. You don't do that. And it's like at that moment, I just felt like I felt I don't say depressed. I just felt sad. I just felt like, it was
You
like,
can't let that
dang.
mess with your energy, man. Like energy, dude.
Mhm.
Energy is
Huge.
everything, dude. Like if you don't have big energy, man, you can't. I can't do it. You know.
Right.
I don't talk about my vision to everybody because you can't understand it because it's mine. It's not
Exactly.
yours. You know.
I feel like the only support I get is with I would say y'all got you guys and
Yeah.
another friend of ours. They
Yep.
about the only I say positive things said.
You got to look at it like this, man. I like to tell everybody this when somebody talk to me about visions and dreams and stuff like that. So we everybody talk about going to college, right?
Hmm.
You go to college. What's going to happen your first 5 years when you come out of school?
That
Are you going to jump straight into making senior level money?
Nope.
no,
Exactly. You're going to deal with from 1 to 5 years of some brokenness. You can't pay your student loans. You can't do this. You're making the bare minimum. So why is it? And I'm just going to use this for instance.
I know where you're going
You
with
know,
this.
you're making content, right?
Yep.
And people be like, "Oh man, you making this content, man? How much money you made?" Well, you go on a job. You come out of school, you might make 50, $60,000 your first 5 years. You're not gonna get a raise, none of that. But you go and apply for another job at another place after 5 years. Once you got that experience, then you're gonna hit the six figures.
Exactly.
Why am I gonna expect to make anything when I'm just starting something out?
I feel like.
You know, I
hopes
mean,
and dreams.
a lot of people don't understand it. You know, I mean, it's just
Yep.
if here's my thing. If you're just not intelligent on certain stuff, I'm just not gonna talk to you about certain stuff because some
Yeah.
people, they just don't understand.
But it's weird how people don't understand that though. Like, think about it. You just made a perfect example. When you making content and stuff and you posting and you want this as a career, you have to treat it like a job. So it's like, why is it so hard for people to look at it like, oh, it's gonna take some time for this person to blow up on this? Like, it's gonna take some time for you to blow up on a job as well.
Yeah,
So it's like the comparison is right there, and people just don't see it. People don't be like, "Oh man, keep doing this. Yeah, you doing good." It's you gonna get that small crowd of people that's gonna support you. They're gonna like all your videos. They're gonna comment. They're gonna repost it for you,
mhm.
and those gonna be the people that you gonna look back on and thank. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna thank the haters as well too, but it's not gonna be the same because it's like, why couldn't you see what they were seeing? Like that don't that's weird.
I think a lot of the problem is like people just think that when you're doing something, you have to do it for money all the time.
It's not about
Like
money. You gotta have passion to get
I
money.
do this shit for therapy.
Literally.
This me coming and come talk, that's therapy. You know, me motivating people, that's therapy. Just because, like, a lot of people see you and they don't know your struggle. They don't know where you've been. You
Facts.
know, if half the people out here had to put my shoes on and walk in them
They couldn't.
from the age of 17 to right now, man, half of them will be to commit suicide.
For real though.
You know, so it's just you can't talk to everybody about certain stuff just because they don't understand. They'll never understand.
Some people also not meant to understand. And that's what I like I like when you said that everybody not meant to see your vision because we can't see through each other's eyes. You know what I'm saying? You like God don't give you the same keys that he gave me. to open the doors that I'm going through. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, it's just
Like
like reading a scripture. I can read a scripture and
you're gonna
you
interpret
can
it
read that
different.
same scripture and he might give you a whole different thing
Exactly.
that he trying to get you to see with that scripture.
So everybody's path is different. And that's the thing about when you really like in tune spiritually and stuff, you really see that. Everybody, it may
Oh
be
man, you just said a mouthful.
you really see that because it's like everybody's path is completely different. And I say that all the time. We could be in the same room, we could be going the same places, but we have different views, like literally. And a lot of people don't see that. That's why everybody's not meant to
I'm
understand.
gonna hit you with another one. We could be going in the same building, but we not going on the same floor. If you
That's
know what that
facts.
means.
That's facts. That's facts.
If you're on the bottom floor, you can't understand what it means to make it to that top floor.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because that's not for you.
Yep. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's gift is different.
You'll do
Okay,
this.
y'all got that. I got one.
You'll do this
We could
not
be in the
because
same car, but we going different speeds.
facts.
That's real. That's
Exactly.
real.
Exactly.
We got the same shoes, but I could be the one rocking better.
Oh man, this
Crazy.
dude here, man.
You see what he did there?
Yeah.
You
I
see
see
what
what
he
you're doing.
did there?
Yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
That's
But look,
real.
man, you know, I say all that to just say, don't let nobody kill your dream because you could be that person that's there to, to change that legacy,
Facts.
to help other people in your family, in your community, you know, change their legacy, you know,
Yep.
and not even just change the legacy, just change where they want to go in life,
Right.
like you doing something positive could uplift somebody else,
For
you
real
know,
though.
to come in and do the same thing you're doing or maybe even better,
Sure.
so you have to you have to believe in yourself, you know. If if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else
Believe it.
nobody else gonna believe, you know.
Right.
You gotta have that confidence, and you like sometimes you gotta be cocky with it.
Facts.
You gotta be cocky with it.
Gotta be
You know,
boastful with it.
that's what we talk about. Being boastful.
Facts. Being
That's what this is
boastful.
about. Being
Real
boastful.
deal though.
Like I don't care if you don't believe. I do.
Exactly. It don't
You
matter.
ain't
You don't
seeing
gotta
vision.
believe.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them.
But look, man,
Real spill.
this our time, man. On the next episode, we're gonna talk about financial literacy and freedom and what wealth truly means for the family.
Right.
Um, go ahead, shout them out, let them know where they can catch us at.
Y'all already know the deal, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all share. And y'all can find us on Boastful at TikTok, IG, and YouTube. Get back with us. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Peace.
Deuces.